Today, we got an alt-rock classic, some brand new music, and a lot of cool stuff from Canada. It's the early morning Sunday show. Cheers. Let's do this. Welcome to the early morning Sunday show. Big week ahead for me. Fly out on Tuesday to Denver. Finally going to see the grandson, Aiden. Pretty exciting. Really exciting. In fact, I'll show you this. Mark Mad for Vinyl. He sent me some stuff, which I want to show in a couple weeks, but oh, for God's sakes. One of them sent this album. It's Aiden's first Disney album. Now, I'm not bringing it as like my kid would have a turntable. I don't think so. But when he comes here, he has his first Disney album. It's a Small World. So, thank you, Mark. Very cool. Very nice. Very thoughtful. Hey, I just wanted a couple little thanks. TJ Trish, thank you very much. Mr. Finglish, if you're Bad English Rex, I mean, great channel, all the way from Finland, sent me a wonderful Christmas card. I really appreciate that. Rocky O, very cool, thank you very much. Don, this old goat, thank you. And Michael Christensen, thank you. Real nice, very nice. I appreciate it. Oh, and Bill from Vinylverse. I forgot yours was downstairs. He had a real nice one. I was really late in getting my cards out this year because we were waiting for the grandbaby. So, yeah, we're excited. Heading out to Denver and going to do it. I'm going to, that kind of official christening of being a grandparent, I guess, you know, holding the baby. And activities planned. I came up with a lot of stuff. Let's see, we're going to take a nap laying down. We're going to take a nap standing up. We're going to take a nap sitting up. We're going to take a nap in lotus position. We're going to maybe take a nap in the car together. We're going to do all that stuff together. So I'm just excited about having all these activities with the grandson. But let's talk a little bit about some music. Why do you have to, why do you lick me? Why you lick my face? For those of you maybe just joined my channel, he would do this, he'd lick, and a few years back, he decided to also just take a bite out of it, and I wound up doing this thing, and I'm bleeding. I didn't even know till Ben was like, hey man, you're bleeding. So, yeah, don't trust a cat. So, we're going to begin, though, with an alt-rock classic. This was an amazing find I found. I was in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Greenlight Records, the Pixies Bossa Nova. And I was going through there, and they had this, and they had an original of Surfa Rosa. Now, I have a reissue of Surfa Rosa, but I have no Bossa Nova. And so I was trying to decide, I thought maybe I really wanted to buy them both, but wasn't going to be the cheapest thing in the world. So I went with this one because I don't have it anymore. Used to have it on CD, but never had it in vinyl. So the Pixies, you know, they formed in 86, broke up in 93, but they've reformed. This probably is one of the most influential alternative bands of the late 80s, I think I could say. Bossa Nova came out in 1990, and this was their fourth album. What made this different is it's the first song. Kim Deal has no song. She didn't write any songs on this because she'd already started the Breeders and they'd put out pods. So I think all her writing went into that. This is a reverb heavy production. I mean, there's just a lot of that on there. You have some pretty neat songs on here that I thought were pretty. You got Veloria, which is like a theremin-driven sci-fi. So you got that theremin, that woo, you know, when you move up, you know what I mean. Down the Wall was a song I really thought was really good. That is it's their token kinky song. What's a Pixie album without having some type of kinky type song? Black Francis all seem to have that. The Happening is on here, about alien abduction. What's a Pixies album about alien abduction or about aliens? So you have to have that. Hey, this would have worked in for Vinyl Tag, huh? Cecilia Ann is it's a surfer. How was it? The Surf Tones cover. That was really cool. And Rock Music was another one I believe I liked. Oh, no. Yeah, Rock Music. That's the second song. That just had this fiery guitar outburst going on. Really, really good. When this came out, it did not, the critics didn't like it, but it came after Doolittle, and everyone's comparing it to Doolittle. And Doolittle's obviously a classic. This has aged well. When I played this again, because it's been years since I played it, after Flood and Lost, even when I had the CD, I wasn't playing it. I really like this much better than I did before. See that? What? Okay, screw with the cat, sorry. Yeah, really happy to get that. The Pixies, Bossa Nova, God, that Surfer Rules would have been cool, but this is great to have in. Marillion from Bill from the Vinylverse sent me this, and I showed it. I did a little opening at Christmas, but I hadn't been able to play it yet. And it's a 2-album set, basically on 3 albums, just black vinyl. You'll take my word for that. And so Bill from the Vinylverse, he's been a good friend in the VC of mine ever since we started 4 or 5 years ago, who knows how long. And so he sent me this. Bill is the king of prog, king of Genesis. And so, this came out this year, or last year now, I guess 2022. Marillion's been around since 1979. This is their 20th album. And so I've heard Marillion. I may have used to have a Marillion album, but I don't know much about them. And I remember when this came out, Bill really, really liked it. To me, I felt this album had a upbeat feel. Sometimes some prog albums to me just kind of get sluggish, and they just like tripping over their own feet with the music. It just gets confusing to me. I felt this had a fairly upbeat feel, and what I really liked is on here they had called the Choir Noir, and this choir, it added so much. I felt to it. It gave some of these songs a lot more depth, and I just liked the sound. There was the song on here, Love. Oh, was it Love? The Crow and the Nightingale. Crow and the Nightingale. I absolutely thought that was a wonderful song. There was just these great guitars. It was very symphonic, but, done in a nice way that was, with this hard rock type guitars going on. It sounded just fantastic. Super good. An Hour Before Dark, I thought was another one that I really enjoyed. I mean, some of these songs, they take up a whole side, there's like a symphony or whatever. We got, A, B, C, D, different movements that go on. Some are not. Generally, I wouldn't like these, full album song, but they did a really nice job. It sounded really, really good. They take on topics of morality on here and empathy. Also, the song, was it Care? Was that the song? Yeah, Care. Care was a cool song. It split up into like 3 different parts, but it just had this danceable electronic groove happening that I really, really liked. I mean, it's just, it was so good sounding. Yeah, this is very good. Bill, I would never have bought this in a million years, and Bill knew that, and so he sent, and this has been fantastic. Great listen, really have enjoyed it. Marillion, and this is their last one. I should probably say, An Hour Before It's Dark is the name of the album. An Hour Before It's Dark, really good stuff. Okay, another new album I got from 2022, Metric, out of Ontario, Canada, eh? So we have here Metric. They formed in 1998, and here we have the band members here. It actually started with Emily Haynes, that must be the lady, and James Shaw, and he's one of those three guys. You have a 33% chance of getting it right. I'm going to say it's either him or him. I'm not sure which one is him, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter, does it? But those two, they originally formed a band called Mainstream. They put out an EP and then suddenly changed their name to Metric. Emily, she was born in India, but her parents were American, but she got raised in Ontario. And then James, he was born in the UK, but his parents moved to Canada, and he was raised in Ontario. It seems to me Ontario is the place to go to raise children. That's what it feels like. So this is a four-piece band, synth pop, probably indie rock, I guess is where you would classify an album like this. This is their 8th album that came out last year, and it's called Formentera. Formentera. We're going to just say I'm saying that right. Okay. And it begins just with Doom Scroller as the very first one. And it is kind of like krautrock light, I guess you might say. It's just this 10-minute epic, but it has this neat, fun sound to it. It's, again, kind of a krautrock thing going on, but not quite as deep as Says Like a Can. Look at, this album. A lot of the songs they're dealing with looking at class struggle, looking at consumerism, but doing it in a way in which you can dance. You have, False Dichotomy. That was a song I like. Kind of a new wave fuzz going on with the synthesizer happening. Very interesting. Oh Please was a fun one. It's just a dance rock gem. I mean, just very, very peppy. But again, they're trying to put a message out there, what they're talking about. This was enjoyable. Didn't make the top 12, but it was an enjoyable album. And, from a group, they've been around, but again, I found them off YouTube, just a video clip. Go, hey, that's pretty good. I like that. So Metric, Formentera. Now, the next albums I'm going to show are from Darrell Vickers. And Darrell Vickers, his channel's Off the Beaten Tracks. And Darrell's out of Canada. He's lived in the United States, worked in down in L.A. I've actually worked with Johnny Carson, one of the writers. And plus works within TV, the whole entertainment industry. Great writer. But he has such knowledge of music and an incredibly large collection. I mean, mind-blowing large, that it's in crates and that, but he's been getting it unpacked slowly but surely. And he buys music that you It's out there, but you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't know it. You would ignore it. And currently what he's doing on videos is he's playing like 6 albums. He talk a little bit about them. He'll play a full track, and at the end he has his dog. Just an album about this thing sucks. And so it's really interesting. It's really fun. Just a really good channel. I really love Darrell to death. Off the Beaten Tracks. He has more stories than anybody else I know. But he's been a follower of my channel since, I guess since he started. But so he sent me a couple of these albums. This is from Murray McLaughlin. What do I know of Murray McLaughlin? Absolutely nothing. I can tell you he's born in 48, and he's from Canada. He was actually born in Scotland, but they moved to Toronto. And so raised in Toronto. See, some Ontario, Toronto. I mean, isn't Toronto in Ontario? I believe it is. So he is a singer-songwriter, kind of folk, country, rock type music on here. This Boulevard, this is Boulevard. This is his 6th album, and this came out in 1976. This is Hard Rock Town. This is his 7th album. And it came out in 1977. Yeah, hi. He's now petting me. Right. Okay. Let's calm down here. So these are. He has some really good guitar playing on these. Very, very nice. I kind of thought of him. I was thinking, he's a singer-songwriter. I was thinking kind of a hard rock and Harry Chapin. That was kind of my thought on here. What? One of these, which one was it? Here, La guerre c'est fini pour moi. It's French. Me and Vinyl Rich are going to do a video on we're only going to talk French. We decided to do that. It's a kind of disaster that would be. But it's an excellent fiddle in it. I mean, it was so good. Actually, there's a lot of cool fiddle. This one's kind of a little, it's Hard Rock Town. The song Hard Rock Town is a harder rockin' song. I like this one better than this one, but they were both great listens from Murray McLaughlin. And as far as, let's look at labels. On the True North label. Again, a label I'm unfamiliar with. There's what it looks like here in the back. And this one, Hard Rock Town. True North. All right. Cat wanted to make sure everyone saw him. It is his show after all. So, Murray McLaughlin. Very good. This came in. The Head Boys, again, have no idea. They're actually out of Scotland. George, maybe you were in this band from George Skinner Scott. Possibly. But Scotland from 77 to 80. Power pop group. They originally called themselves Badger and then changed it to Head Boys. Isn't that kind of a fun look on here? This... They had a hit single, The Shape of Things to Come, that came out in 77. Kind of considered a one-hit wonder. This is very pop, not rock, but does have great harmonies. Synthesizers, you get a lot of that. very danceable beats are on here. So you could see they're definitely going, the way of new wave, how new wave was going off RSO. Kicking Over the Cans was a fun new wave pop type song that was on here. They have a song called Schoolgirls. It's about ogling schoolgirls. Might be a little creepy now. At the time, it wasn't. That was okay. This was in the late 70s, so that was all right to have. But now, probably wouldn't work very good. But it had, but the song did have a harder rock vibe to it. So just a fun new wave pop band that from '79 that came out of Scotland, the Head Boys. We have Shooter group again. No idea about. Darrell finds these albums. He just, when he goes in the bins, the guy is the king of the blind buy. He just, this looks interesting, this looks interesting, and he just buys them. King of the, no one blind buys like this man. But Shooter, they came out of Toronto, formed in '72 and broke up in '80. Their original group was called Greaseball Boogie Band, and they were a Sha-na-na type of a group in England, in Canada. But they changed. They go, hey, let's go, instead of having this greaser 50s look, let's go into and become mobsters. So they changed their name to Shooter and took on the mobster look. And I think, I think this album, this is their self-titled album, came out in 1975. Isn't that when in the U.S. you have the Night Chicago Died was coming out? And can't think of the group that made that. The Night Chicago Died, na 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 na. About the old Al Capone fight. Could be. It is off GRT label. Interesting. This is. There's some good songs on here. There's some rockin' songs on here. Like was it Juke the Toad was one. Everybody Loves a Darling was a song I liked on here, and Man Standing on the Inside. Then some of them kind of got vaudeville, and you would see that, especially with in England, so many albums would go into kind of a more of a vaudeville type feel, and I felt that was happening on some of this. They did get a Juno for the most promising group after this album came out. Now the interesting thing is this album is only covers. It's only covers, that's it. And yet they got a Juno for most interesting group, though there's nothing original on it. Well, okay, well, Canada does it different. So there's some good stuff on here. The vaudeville stuff, not quite as good, but fun listen to from a band that decided to go from 50s look to gangster. Yeah. All right, Shooter. Liquor in the face, and now I saw my daddy again. Because everybody loves a drinking man. I say everybody loves a drinking man. I had this album before, Parachute Club. And they had this big song, Rise Up, Rise Up, Rise Up. And it did really well. These guys are out of Toronto. Oh, by the way, these guys are out of Toronto. Toronto is, I think, the music capital of Canada. Canadians, please correct me. So this came out 82 to, the group was from 82 to 88. I think they tried to reformed a few times. It's pop, new wave with a Caribbean twist to it. And they've had to integrated a lot of Caribbean sounds into this music. Parachute Club, the album. This came out in '83. And again, had the big hit, Rise Up. And it was produced by Daniel Lanois, which gives it some cred. It's soulful with congas and timbalas. You're going to hear them throughout on current label. Rise Up, of course, it's a joyous sounding song, Rise Up. And it should be joyous because what they're doing is, here's the group, because they're the song they're singing about nuclear war, sexism, and hunger. So yeah, I mean, if that's not joyous, I don't know what else would be. So, but they, kind of, what are we doing? What can we do? Why? It's the albums. You don't need to sit on the albums. If you want to come down. The whole album has a nice feel because it has this Caribbean feel happening within there. Very 80s, very much the 80s with the synthesizers and the keys. You definitely 80s type production. Rise Up in 1998. The song, a pizza company took it. Rise Up, the crust. They didn't like it and they got sued and they had to get rid of it. So. Final one here today is Bob Segorini, and he's out of California, born 45. Look at this. This is pretty neat. This is album came out in 78, and he had this cool colored vinyl. So he's from California, couldn't make it really here, but Canada loved the man. They loved him in Canada, so that's where he did a lot of his music. And this is called Gotta Have Pop. And this is, what was it? Part of the wheel. Oh, I can't think of it. Oh, well. He did 4 solo albums, and this is the first one, Gotta Have Pop, that he put out. This came out in 1978. And there was just a lot of hooks in here, some smart, but some very... some funny lyrics. So he's kind of having a good time. A late 70s kind of a pop singer songwriter type album would probably be how to classify this. You have Dressed in the Dark, which has just this punky rockabilly type sound to it. Steady Eddie, I believe. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Steady Eddie was one. And kind of a twisted high school lament. I mean, it's just about just kind of a funny song. 10 well-crafted songs. I think that's what you could say. Very well-crafted songs. Very enjoyable listen from someone I never would have known. So I knew one of these albums. The rest of them I did. So Darrell, thank you very much. So that's it for this week. We're going to have a midweek. I think I'm probably doing my favorite reissues of 2022. So please drop by for that. Otherwise, Cat's going to be put up with a bunch of, in a kitty, I don't know, it's not a prison, kitty spa, we'll call it. And I'll be enjoying Denver. So thank you very much for dropping by. Have yourself a great week. Bye.